Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tea Party with Ghost. I'm Ghost.
And I'm Ash.
And happy Christmas if you celebrate. If you do not, then that is perfectly fine. And happy whatever the fuck you want to do. Have a good Monday or whatever. So, we told you that we would be having a Christmas-themed extra episode for today, and it is late, but we've also been busy, so.
Yeah. Like, I had to go drive to family and do Christmas with family and, all that fun stuff.
And I did absolutely nothing but play video games and eat Chinese food. And the dogs were piled up on me asleep.
Yeah, they had a rough day, too. They were a busy day.
Very rough.
Yeah.
So, today, I've been listening to a true crime podcast because I'm all into that. And so for today, I have 10 Crimes of Christmas. The article that I had picked was 12 crimes, but one of them I think Ash is going to do an episode on, and the other one I will be too pissed off and go into a full-blown rage talking about it because it is ridiculous that it hasn't been solved yet, because they have everything that they can do, but they will not do it because, tiny jealous man egos.
You're already getting mad about it? Oh,
yes.
No. Okay.
So what do you have for us?
I just have a few ghost stories.
Sweet.
Christmas ghost stories.
Sweet.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, let's get started. So, the first one that I have to tell you about, the headline on it says, "A Grim Gift Left Under the Christmas Tree." When 37-year-old Patty White offered down on her luck Michelle O'Dowd a place to stay over the festive period, Michelle was delighted at the Christmas spirit being shown to her, but White had an ulterior motive, one involving stealing all of her new housemates' credit cards, killing her, and leaving her among a trashed Christmas tree to look like a bungled burglary.
Oh, God.
The scene was discovered by Michelle's twin brother Phil, who went to check in on her after she failed to show for work. There, amongst a pile of wrapped Christmas presents, he saw his sister's foot. Patty White had beaten and strangled the 67-year-old and left her among the gifts. She would receive a 45-year sentence from a South Carolina judge for her vile crime.
Insane.
This poor lady was 67 years old.
Yeah, she just wanted to have a good Christmas with someone.
And the second one that I have for you, it says, "Couple stabbed man in face, bashed in his skull, and set light to him on Christmas Day in a Kill Bill plot." Victoria, Australia. It's Christmas Day 2013, but instead of spending the day with loved ones, William, who he went by Bill, that's what my papa did. Mm-hmm. Bill Stevenson, pays the ultimate price for keeping poor company as his friends. Meth addicts Danielle Kerr and Darren Lewis kill him in one of the most violent ways conceivable. Their motives not entirely clear. It was meth.
Well,
The pair drove Stevenson out to bushland and began beating him about the head with a large rock. Kerr then stabbed the man to death while cackling about their Kill Bill plans. The couple then set the car alight and casually walked home. Thankfully, they would be arrested, charged, and convicted soon afterwards.
That's so sad.
Yes.
That's so sad.
That's what meth can do.
Well, yeah, that's what meth does to you. Sometimes.
It's pretty methed up. Stop. If you didn't know, I love puns. Or dad jokes, whatever you want to.
I hate it so much.
You love it. Marvelous teen gang indulge in sickening festive killing spree. There were 4 of them, and they called themselves the Downtown Posse.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They call themselves the Downtown Posse. Were they 4 little white kids?
Probably. To the police and courts, though, they were simply Laura Taylor, 16 years old, DeMarcus Smith, 17 years old, Heather Matthews, 20 years old, and Marvelous Keene, 19. Between Christmas Eve and Boxing Day 1992, the gang went on a murder spree in Dayton, Ohio, that would see 5 innocent people die and 4 seriously injured. Murdered for not liking a gift enough? Led by King, the gang's primary motive was robbery, but things soon got out of hand as Marvelous King grew paranoid about snitches and effectively turned the holiday season into hunting season.
Good God. It's like the Purge.
For his central role in the Christmas killings, Keene would go on to become the 10,000th American convict to be executed since the death penalty was reinstated back in 1976, while his cohorts would receive life sentences. Number 4. Search for missing Bristol woman turns to hunt for her killer. Joanna Yeats' disappearance a week before Christmas in 2010 made local news in Bristol almost immediately. Soon the search and appeal broadened and her whereabouts were of national interest. On Christmas Day, her body was found in the snow 3 miles from her home. The case achieved notoriety for the media's handling of the first suspect, Joanna's eccentric landlord, Christopher Jeffries. Hounded and effectively labeled the murderer without proof, UK tabloids The Mirror and The Sun were later found guilty of contempt of court for their poor coverage. Jeffries was later vindicated when Mrs. Yeats' Dutch neighbor Vincent Tabak was arrested and charged with her murder.
That's wild, dude. And all this happened on Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, like separate Christmases, but...
Yeah. Number 5. I am skipping because I'm going to be too pissed to talk about it. Oh, yeah, this one kind of made me a little excited because,
goodness,
my favorite place on earth.
Look.
Number 6. Edinburgh, Scotland. Which technically would be number 5 because I skipped one. Edinburgh woman stabs neighbor 29 times over Christmas present dispute. Murdered for not liking a gift enough? Well, that was the excuse for 37-year-old Melissa Young. She gave police when she was arrested for the brutal killing of her next-door neighbor, Alan Williamson, on Christmas Day 2013. Young later claimed diminished responsibility and that mental health issues were behind the sustained attack. At the time, though, her motive was given as rage due to Williamson dismissively rejecting her Christmas present of a pair of unisex trainers and a copy of the Sun newspaper's slightly raunchy 2014 calendar.
Oh, dear.
Young pleaded guilty to culpable homicide in 2014 and was sentenced to a minimum 20-year sentence. Since being jailed at the women's prison HMP Corton Vale in Stirling, we've been there, she has seriously assaulted 2 female prison officers.
Good God, dude. Like, if I'm not mistaken, trainers are tennis shoes, right, in the UK?
Yes.
So why would you be mad about some shoes? I mean, I get the calendar, because it's, whatever. May not be her cup of tea. But, like, why are you going to stab someone over not liking the present you got them?
Right? I mean, take that shit back.
Yeah.
That's what we do here in the good old US of A.
I mean, sometimes that happens,
Or you regift it.
Yeah. I regift some stuff, sometimes.
Yeah.
Recycle.
Yes. Not homicide, recycle.
Exactly.
This one's entitled A Christmas Rampage.
Ooh.
December 28th, 1987. Ronald Gene Simmons walked into the law firm in Russellville, Arkansas, and shot dead a receptionist who he was infatuated with, but who had spurned his advances. Then he went into the office of an oil company and shot 2 executives, killing one and injuring the other. He then drove to a convenience store and former place of work and shot 2 more people who would both survive, thankfully.
Well, that's good, yeah.
Finally, he would do the same at the Woodlawn Motor Freight Company, shooting and wounding a woman. He then sat down and waited for the police to arrest him. The spree killing rocked the state, but the murders were merely a bookend to Simmons' evil festive period. 6 days previously, he had shot and strangled his wife, 2 sons, and 4 daughters.
God.
Yeah, so he had 6 kids and a wife, and he killed them too. It doesn't end there either. Simmons then sat in the house among the bodies for 4 days, leaving only to visit a local bar. On Boxing Day, 9 more relatives turned up to visit the Simmons family, including Ronald Simmons' grandchildren. All were killed. In total, he took 16 people's lives that Christmas.
Oh my God.
On the 25th day of June 1990, then Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton signed Simmons' execution warrant, and he was killed by lethal injection. See,
They should have done more than lethal injection, man. They should have done... Listen.
See, he should have just skipped to the end and just, like, killed himself.
Yeah.
Like, why are you gonna kill kids?
Like,
Or anyone for that matter, but especially children.
like, kids are just different because they're innocent.
Yeah.
Like, they are the most pure creatures on this planet.
Yeah.
That's so sad. Oh my God. 16 people within a week?
Yeah, spree killing.
Jesus Christ.
And a family annihilator because he killed his whole family.
Yeah, and the grandkids and shit.
So the next one, the first and last family photograph the Lawsons would ever take. North Carolina tobacco farmers Charles Davis Lawson made his wife Fanny and their 7 children put on their Sunday best for Christmas Day morning in 1929. For they were to go into town and have a professional family photograph taken, a rare treat for such a poor family. Later that day, after settling back home, Charles would set about methodically beating and shooting his wife, along with 6 of the 7 children, until they were dead. The child spared was the Lawsons' oldest child, which was 16-year-old Arthur, who Charles had sent on a needless errand before the vicious massacre. Charles Lawson's motive was never determined.
That is so sad.
It's crazy, but, like, I mean, obviously it's crazy, but I wonder why just that one was...
It must have been a favorite or something. Did he kill himself or no?
It didn't say.
Oh.
Usually family annihilators kill the whole family and don't spare one.
I mean, it depends, because I know in some cases, there have been instances of where there's a favorite child, and they'll send them off, and then make them find the bodies instead when they get back. Which is awful.
Yeah.
Like...
A murder so sick and twisted it would disgust even Halloween.
Oh dear.
Was the headline for this one.
That's nice. Okay, you're right.
Christy Bamu was just 15 when he was tortured and drowned in a bath by his own sister, Magali, and her twisted boyfriend, Eric Bakubi. It was Christmas Day 2010, and the couple finally killed poor Christy after a sustained and brutal 4-day torture session at their flat in Newham, London. When his body was found, more than 130 separate injuries were counted. The 20-something Congolese couple's excuse? They believed Magali's younger brother was a witch.
Oh my God.
Eric was ordered to serve at least 30 years in prison, while Magali received a minimum of 25 years for the unimaginably horrific killing.
Why not fucking life?
Because it's the UK.
I don't care. They tortured this poor boy for 4 fucking days and then killed him. He had 130 separate injuries.
Do you remember that one case that I let you hear about this girl who was a hitchhiker and she was picked up by this man and he literally cut her arms off?
Oh yeah, and she survived.
And he got nothing. He got released after like a couple of years.
I remember that.
Yeah.
He ended up dying though, I think, from a mob.
He got released from prison and then...
Is that the man they kept having to relocate?
Yes, because nobody would take him. And finally Florida did, and then he went and killed another woman. Or went and killed a woman. And... yeah, I don't remember exactly. I think he finally got life after that, but I don't remember.
Well, I know they kept having to relocate him because the citizens of each town would find out who he was and where he lived, and they went to go kill him.
Yeah, they went to go lynch him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As they should have.
Yeah.
But anyways. Stagger Lee and the Seasonal Showdown. Lee Shelton was a known criminal and pimp who went by the name Stagger Lee. Famous now because of the folk song he would inspire. Shelton wasn't a man to be trifled with, as William Billy Lyons would discover to his cost. This murder took place on Christmas night, 1895, in St. Louis, Missouri. Stagger and Billy were drinking and playing cards together in the Bill Curtis Saloon when, wouldn't you know it, they got into a dispute. Lyons snatched Stagger's Stetson hat, and, well, you've seen westerns. Stagger Lee drew his gun, shot Lyons dead, and the rest is history. History and a song. The Santa Suit Slaughter.
What the fuck?
It was Christmas Eve of 2004 in a small city of Covina, just outside of LA. Parties dominated the neighborhood. 1129 East Knollcrest Drive had around 25 close friends. I don't even like 25 people, let alone have 25 close friends.
Right.
Anyways, they had 25 close friends and family enjoying each other's company. At around 11:30 p.m., a knock at the door came. Standing on the other side of the door was Santa Claus. It was a dream come true. Santa was at the door.
Oh, okay.
At least that's what the 8-year-old girl who answered the door thought. Sorry.
No.
This is not funny, but it's...
No.
But it wasn't Saint Nick. It was a man called Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, the unstable and violent ex-husband of one of the women at the party.
Oh, no.
He was holding a 9mm pistol in one hand and a flamethrower in the other.
What?
I want a flamethrower.
No.
He had 3 more handguns in his possession. Cruelly and methodically, he went about shooting everyone in his sight before setting alight to the house.
Oh my God.
9 people would die and 3 would be badly injured. Pardo left, driving to his brother's house some 30 miles away. He had planned to detonate a series of handmade explosives and then make his escape to Canada. But the fire had caused his Santa suit to melt on him, causing severe 3rd-degree burns. Good. Instead, Pardo decided to put a bullet in his head. Good.
Well.
So this was all of the true crime cases I had for you tonight.
Yeah.
Hopefully it wasn't too much of a bummer. Yeah, but if you have a brain like mine, I mean, you're just kind of used to it.
I guess. Okay.
I mean, I've been desensitized to stuff because, my mom let me watch horror movies at 3 years old.
Yeah, Okay.
And it was my dream job to be a homicide detective or a forensic pathologist.
Yeah.
But, life happens and that doesn't work. Well, and it doesn't happen, so...
Shit happens sometimes, broski.
Anyways, so tell us all about these Christmas hauntings that you have for us.
Okay, so I have a few Christmas ghost stories. The first one is called The Legend of the Mistletoe Bride. Never heard of it.
Me either.
So, while the details have been known to change over the years, evolving to fit both the teller and the audience, it is believed that the original story spawned from the tragic real-life death of Lord Lovell's bride at the Bramshill House in Hampshire, England.
Who the fuck is Lord Lovell?
I don't know. The story goes that Lord Lovell and his bride-to-be were set to wed around Christmas, bringing parties from both families to Lovell's estate in Hampshire. Or would it be Hampshire?
Hampshire.
There, while hanging mistletoe throughout the house, the families came up with a wedding party game to help pass the time. The rules were simple. Lord Lovell's young bride was to hide somewhere in the enormous mansion while the groomsmen set out to try and find her. Whoever located her first would be crowned the winner and awarded with a playful kiss under the mistletoe. What started off as all fun and games quickly turned sour, though, once the minutes slipped into hours and no sign of the bride could be found. Unbelievably, months went by, followed by years without any answers. They lost this woman.
She probably got stuck in some kind of crawl space or something, possibly.
So, Lovell, heartbroken, was eventually forced to move on. It wasn't until 50 years later,
Jeez.
as Lovell's grandchildren played a game of hide and seek themselves, that they stumbled upon a secret closet in an upstairs room. There they found an old wooden chest sealed shut with the bride-to-be trapped inside, or at least what was left of her.
So, do you think someone might have, trapped her in there on purpose?
I don't know.
We could have another true crime case.
Ooh. Of course, the poor lost girl is still seen at Bramshill House around Christmas, moving through the halls at night and calling out for anyone to find her. But every year as the holiday season slips away, so does any trace of the mistletoe bride. Bet that scarred those kids for life.
Probably. I mean, if it would have been me as a kid, I would have been like, cool, Halloween decorations.
Oh my god, dude. Okay, so this next one, it's called Smee by A.M. Barrage. And this is actually a game that I heard about not too long ago.
Yeah, we heard this on another podcast.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Heart Starts Pounding podcast.
Yeah.
If you like, ghost stuff and, kind of stuff like what we talk about on here, you should totally check out that podcast.
Yeah, it's a really good podcast. Okay, so known for his work in horror and early young adult fiction, Alfred McLeland Barrage may not be a household name to most. Still, in the first half of the 20th century, he was both prolific and popular, especially after his timeless tale of holiday hijinks titled Smee. Published in 1931 in the critically acclaimed short story collection Someone in Their Room, this spooky tale of a Christmas Eve gone south has long been a classic for lovers of the holiday ghost story and is still very much read to this day. This story, which also takes on the format of a frame story, tells of a young boy on Christmas Eve who, wanting to join his friends for an after-dinner game, shares a cautionary tale instead. On a past Christmas Eve, the boy had been playing a game of Smee, or hide-and-seek, with 11 of his best friends, taking turns hiding within an enormous old house known for its mysterious past and haunted reputation. Though the game starts with 12, the children soon find that at some point during their time among the winding corridors and endless rooms, a third player has joined them. A 13th player?
Yeah, it should have been 13.
It should have been a 13th player. Okay, maybe that was a typo.
Probably was.
Anyways, this young girl, tall and dark, is eager to take part in the fun, but no one seems to know where she came from. We have no interest in spoiling the fun for you, but needless to say, the game continues on, with more of the girl's past being slowly revealed until the story reaches the likely and gripping conclusion that is sure to please. As far as ghost stories go, you might not find this 100-year-old premise to be all that fresh, but it was very much a new and terrifying concept for its time, and now only seems cliche because of its lasting influence on the genre. They played hide and seek with a ghost.
Yeah. Sounds fun.
Yeah, totally.
The ghosts be kind of cheating, though, because they can disappear.
Well, yeah, true. They do what they want. Alright. So this next one is The Ghost of Anne Boleyn.
Oh, I've heard of this one, too.
Really? I have not.
Yeah, she was King Henry VIII's wife.
Okay.
One of his wives.
Yeah. You may be wondering how one of the many wives of King Henry VIII made her way into a list of Christmas ghost stories, or how her subsequent and unfortunate death at the hands of the Mad King relates to our festive holiday theme. Long before her marriage, Anne grew up in Hever Castle, the longtime home of the Boleyn family nestled deep within the Kent countryside. It was an idyllic childhood full of love and happy memories, especially around the holidays, which was Anne's favorite time of the year. All of that would change, though, the day she married King Henry VIII.
Yeah, fuck him.
It should have been a sign in retrospect that becoming the second wife of the king, who basically invented second wives, was maybe a bad idea, especially considering that his royal highness's mental health was by then declining as quickly as his cruelty was growing. But Anne was so in love, and who didn't want to be a queen? So Anne married Henry, and they enjoyed a few short years of royal bliss until that demon living in Henry started to rear its ugly head once again. It started with rumors around the court, people whispering about witchcraft and treason, adultery and incest, and everything in between. To Anne's surprise, most of the accusations stopped, leading King Henry VIII to formally charge her in 1536 and, as we all know, cut off her head. A tragic end within a dark part of history, but for Anne Boleyn, the story isn't quite over. It seems that Anne's spirit didn't stick around to watch King Henry VIII abuse and berate the next 4 wives, one of whom also lost her head. and instead returned to her ancestral home in the countryside. Today, people all over England know about that castle in Kent, now home to Anne's ghost. In fact, she is still seen on the grounds to this day, reliving the happier moments of her life as she slips through the halls or across the bridge that spans the River Eden, her favorite spot. This is what really stuffs our stocking. When it comes to this ghost story, though, is that Anne Boleyn is only ever seen on one day of the year, her favorite day, Christmas Eve.
That castle that we went to there in what town was it that we went to? Before we went to St. Andrews. You know what castle I'm talking about though, right?
I think so.
Where they filmed like Outlander.
Yeah.
Yeah, so was that King Henry VIII's castle? Or was that, I know it's one of King Henry's, but I don't, was it the 4th or 5th or?
I can't remember. I don't think it was the 8th.
Yeah.
It may have been the 6th.
I remember you said that you got some bad vibes.
It was King Henry the 6th because he's the one who started most of the fucking witch hunts.
Yeah.
That bitch. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so we got to tour King Henry VI's castle there in Scotland, and I'm blanking out on what city that we went to, but yeah, so somebody in this room got some bad vibes in the bedroom.
Wonder why. I wonder fucking why. No, it was like his wife's or his mom's bedroom.
Oh, I thought
one
it was
of the queens.
his.
Well, his too, but the queen's was the one that was really bad. Like I walked up there, I went through for 2 seconds, and I had to leave. It was not a good time.
Falkland, yes, Falkland Palace.
That's right.
That we went to.
Yeah,
in Falkland, Scotland. Yeah, real beautiful town. I mean, the whole entirety of Scotland is absolutely gorgeous. 10 for 10 would recommend going and visiting.
Yeah. I got one more.
Sweet.
This is the story of Hans Trop.
Never heard that name.
The Cannibal Christmas Scarecrow.
Awesome.
So, long story short, who is Hans Trop?
Yeah.
He's a cannibalistic Christmas scarecrow that works alongside Santa Claus. If you're not good, Hans will kidnap you and take you into the forest to eat you.
So he's cousins to Krampus.
Kind of. So, this legend is well known in the French regions of...
We're not even going to attempt to say that.
Alsace. I don't know. That place in Lorraine. He has a lesson to be learned in what happens when you stray from God, turn to the devil, and become obsessed with wealth and power.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. He lived in 1400s and was very rich and powerful, but he was also merciless and feared by the people who lived in Alsace.
The name of that town.
Yeah. He got obsessed with power and started making deals with the devil to make that happen. In short, he sold his soul to Satan. The Catholic Church and the Pope found out about it and excommunicated him. As a result, he was shunned from his community. Hans was banished, stripped of his titles, lands, and money. He resorted to living in the mountains of Bavaria, Germany, and dedicated himself to practicing dark magic and the occult.
But wasn't that what he was pretty much preaching against? Didn't you say that he...
So he is the reason people are preaching against straying from God and making pacts with the devil.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
My ADHD kicked in.
It's okay. So he ended up losing his mind from isolation. Hans went obsessing over power to wanting revenge on those who wronged him. While this was happening, he had a hankering for human flesh. One day, he stuffed his clothing with straw and disguised himself as a scarecrow and placed himself along the road. A 10-year-old boy from the village walked by and Hans stopped him. He took the body back to his lair, sliced the boy into tiny pieces, and cooked his flesh. But before he could eat, he was struck with a divine lightning bolt. Depending on which version you read, he hits his head on a rock and dies when he fell. There's another version where the bolt of lightning burst his head open and killed him. So
Thor killed him.
Yeah. So you could say that God was basically fed up with Hans's evil doing. Today his spirit lingers and he lives on dressed as a scarecrow. Because Hans is stuck in this sort of purgatory, he works with Santa Claus to earn redemption. We have a good cop, bad cop setup where Santa gives the good kids presents while Hans punishes naughty kids. Hans Trop is a warning to children to be good, or he will use his scarecrow disguise to get them if they don't change. He'll carry the naughty children off to the dark forest, never to be seen again.
Cool.
Yeah, and he's actually based on a real life man, so
Huh.
he did not kill a child, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's how local legends go.
yeah, you know, but yeah, he's like the French Krampus, pretty much.
Cool.
So
Cool.
that's all I got.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well,
Okay, well,
we hope you enjoyed this Christmas themed episode. And yeah, we will see you, or you guys will listen to us next week.
yeah.
And we will be back with some kind of spookaloo tale that Ash has for us.
Yeah, I got a few in mind I want to do, so
Yeah.
should be fun.
Yeah. So be safe. Send us pictures of your pets.
Be spoopy.
Yeah. Be the cryptid that you want to see in the world.
Yeah, don't let Hans Trop get you.
Yep. So, all of our links will be in the show notes. Send us pictures of the pets, please.
Please and thank you.
That's all we want for Christmas.
Yep.
So, anyways, be safe, be good, be spooky.
Bye.
Okay, bye.